a good chunk of time has passed since the events of the first film, and we do get the broad strokes for what happened between film 1 and film 2 for your characters, but I was wondering, are there any like smaller backstory details or personal experiences that you came up with that we could at least now feel informing your performance in this movie?
I'll give you this. Jim gave us a script of 1.5 that he wrote that shows the time between Avatar and Avatar Way of Water. And he wrote a full script.
Oh, wow.
And gave it to me and said, look, read this. We'll fill in the blanks of what Jake's been doing. And I said, when do we shoot this one? Because this is amazing. He goes, no, that's just something I wrote over the past year to give you his backstory. And then I lent it to Zoe.
It was amazing.
And I think you lost it. But,
no, I haven't.
You got it?
I just never returned it.
Are there any specific details you can share?
It was more about what they went through as a couple, because their relationship was evolved at the end of the first one. But this was about literally them
the war continued,
having the kids and consummating and stuff like that, and the war. And so it gave us a good jumping off point of where they were at.
Not that his plan isn't ambitious enough, but like you make these next movies and then you go back and you make a series of 1.5.
Yeah, it's crazy that he wrote that, but he needed that to just know where Pandora had evolved to and where this love story had gone. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I want to know everything. I was reading a quote that James had said about himself, and he said he tried to be more emotionally present for the team on this movie. I was wondering, could you both feel that, and if so, how has his approach as an actor's director changed?
Oh my God, he is. He is the best actor's director. There is a sense of just family, the second time around that felt to me like the natural progression of what had started back in 2006, 2007. Jim is like a fine wine. He just gets better in time. You know what I mean? They just keeps getting better and better and better. And now that he's plant-based, oh my God, forget about it.
He got more energy than anybody.
More energy. It was wonderful. I think that back in 2006, there was this great deal of pressure to prove this concept. This was something that was conceived out of thin air, that he just couldn't avoid just keeping it for himself. He had to externalize this, and I think it was hard for all of us to try to understand what was in his mind. And little by little, that's why he kept collaborating with us and showing us every process of it in order for us to understand what was in his, what he was envisioning. By Avatar Way of Water, there was no need to prove. There was no pressure. It was just about following your heart, getting to go back to Pandora. And I think that everybody was just like, bracing themselves like, let's go.
I have another quote for you now. So I was reading an interview that Jamie had done, and I want to get this right. He specifically said James will either celebrate you or be your biggest critic. If he sees a problem, he's going to let you know about it. But then he goes on to explain that there was once a discussion where the discussion between you and James almost broke down, and it ended in you needing to meditate.
In me?
Now that I've seen the movie, can you pinpoint what that scene was, and then maybe how you overcame and collaborated on whatever the challenge was?
It might have been underwater sometime, because you can't communicate underwater, to be honest. And you can hear Jim underwater directing, so sometimes you get a bit confused of what's going on. So I don't think it was actually a mediation between any conflict. I think it was more us trying to navigate what we're being told underwater and how to do that, and Jamie going, I think it was more along those lines.
Fair enough. Than
a conflict.
Well, and here's the wonderful thing about working with someone like Jim. Jim is expecting you to come with your firm beliefs of what you're doing, and yes, there is passionate discourses that have everything to do with our project, because everybody walks in with a very selfless mindset. But the moment he yells, "That's a wrap," nothing is taken home with you, because it's never about, it never gets personal. So there is a lot of passion when you firmly believe in who your character is and where you are and what you're doing. But he kind of goes, this is where you need to be in order for you to get here. And he welcomes it. He's like, come. But at the end, like, he's still the boss, and those kind of experiences only make this story better.
Not an easy batch of qualities to balance, but it seems like he's an expert at it, and I think it pays off in this movie quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. Thank you for your time today.